Yeah.
The great yellow bumblebee has declined by 30% in the last decade and is currently one of Ireland's rarest species of bumblebee, listed as endangered on the Irish Red List and vulnerable in Europe. The only healthy populations of this species is located on the Mullet Peninsula and the possible coastal areas of Erris Mainland in County Mayo. They are identified by their large body, entirely covered in sandy yellow hairs, with a black band around its body aligned with the winged bases. The reason why they are mainly found in the west is because when hay meadows were replaced with silage, it disrupted the great yellow's habitat, and so they eventually disappeared along with their flowery meadow. Recent attempts have been made at Sea Point, where there is a narrow strip of land between the coast and the railway, where they have let designated areas of the grassland overgrow, without being maintained to allow natural biodiversity flourish. In a couple of areas, we notice little signs, including bee imagery, to allow locals understand the controlled areas of meadow and inform them not to disrupt. Yet, during springtime, there is a non-native invasive species known as Japanese knotwood that grows to overtake the land. In an attempt to control this, herbicide is used, which is very harmful to biodiversity as well as their habitat, drying out the soil and decreasing soil's health from optimum growth in the future. This is an unproductive way of managing the invasive species, as in this case, bees in general nest in burrows underground. Adding herbicide to the soils will be toxic and harm the bees' health.
Another endangered species we have decided to research is the angel shark. The angel shark, sometimes referred to as the monkfish, has a broad, flattened body with broad pectoral fins near its head and simple barbels around the mouth. The conservation of angel sharks is listed as critically endangered on the Irish Red List for cartilaginous fish and by the INC Red List. They are thought to be locally extinct across most of their former habitats, with their last known stronghold present in a range from the Canary Islands to Scandinavia. This range has contracted by 58% in the last 100 years. The angel shark typically inhabits the seabed of inshore waters where they can give birth, although they can migrate into offshore waters and can be found at depths of 150 metres. Unfortunately, one of the biggest pressures on angel sharks is overfishing. Angel sharks are sedentary and they dwell along the bottom of the sea floor, usually burying in sand or mud, so they are easily caught by fishing methods such as trawling on the seafloor. This trawling not only can capture the angel sharks but destroy their habitats. Even if they are caught and released, research suggests that about a quarter of female sharks abort their young in the stress of capture, leading to lost generations, with some expelled on farmer boats. In a tagging programme carried out since the 1980s by anglers with Inland Fisheries Ireland, it was found that the angel shark has declined by more than 95% in Irish waters. However, various organisations such as the Angel Shark Conservation Network are working towards building a system to protect and safeguard angel shark stocks. Support for angel sharks on a local level can include increased education to people living in coastal areas to encourage the promotion of sustainable fishing. Furthermore, reported sightings of angel sharks can help to identify crucial areas.
The Eurasian curlew has become one of the most endangered species in Ireland, being the only Irish species on the IUCN Red List of endangered species. They reside on tidal mudflats, peatlands and salt marshes, with many migrating to Ireland from Scandinavia in the winter. If you're lucky, you might spot one out here on North Dublin's Bull Island or out in Portmarnock or Baldoyle, but with a national breeding population of 122 pairs recorded in 2016 and a decline of 97% since the 1980s, it's more than unlikely. The curlew is Europe's largest wading bird and is famous for its down-curved bill, long legs and bubbling call. But what is the reason for the curlew's rapid decline in Ireland? The answer is very familiar, as it's one responsible for the dwindling populations of many other Irish species. Through agricultural intensification and human activity, feeding and breeding grounds for curlews are diminishing. According to the Irish Peatland Conservation Council, Ireland has lost over 40% of the country's original peatland through the harvesting of the peat for fuel. This, together with the burning of peatland pre-harvesting, creates very difficult conditions for curlew breeding. Another deterrent for curlews is linked to another form of land use change. Large areas of marshes and peatlands that are converted into grasslands for agricultural and human resource purposes are unsuitable for curlews. As a result, these magnificent birds are confined to smaller areas with more competition, hence the rapid decline in population. Although it is the responsibility of the Department of Culture, Heritage and Gaeltacht to manage curlew populations, they are heavily dependent on local communities like ours to help maintain a rich biodiversity. So what can you do? Have a look into one of Dublin's birdwatching and protection agencies, such as Baldoyle Birdwatching, to get more insight into the problem. You can also trace your energy source and, if needed, switch from peat-based energy to renewables such as wind or solar. Beach cleanups are another method of action, ensuring that the small part of land left for curlew breeding is still habitable. Our aim for this video is to hopefully shed some more light on the critical endangerment of selected Irish fauna. We hope you, the public, enjoyed and perhaps became more aware of human impacts on these animals and developed a stronger appreciation for them.